Got a secret? Can you keep it? The hit show, the 2010s, Pretty Little Liars, was on every teenage girl's TV back in the day, including mine. The show followed 4 girls who were stalked by an anonymous person/group only known as A. It was full of plot twists and mystery and romance. So looking back on it, it's hard not to see some major faults with the show, and I have to ask myself, how did this air? So first, I'm going to explain the basic premise for everyone who doesn't know. If you already know what's going on in Pretty Little Liars, feel free to skip this part. The basic original premise of Pretty Little Liars is that there are 5 girls who are best friends, and that's Spencer, Hannah, Emily, Aria, and Alison. In the very first episode, we see the girls wake up late at night in Spencer's barn. Spencer rushes in. She goes, "I don't know where Alison is, and I think I heard her scream." And so catapults us into this wave of mystery and horror. Alison goes missing. The show then flashes to a year later, where the girls start receiving a series of threatening and revealing messages from a stalker only known as A. It is also revealed in the pilot that Alison has been murdered. Spoilers ahead for the rest of the entire series. You have been warned. Click off now. Are you gone? Okay, cool. It is later revealed in the show that Alison is not actually murdered and she's actually alive and she's been in hiding from A. She was also saved by like a psychic lady, and then it goes like really haywire from there. In the show, there's constant murders, corrupt police force, and a lot of twins, among other things. Another thing is there's also many relationships between adults and minors. 17 to be exact. Don't worry, we will discuss that and more. So who are we talking about? Who are the characters? Once again, you already know who everyone is. Don't need a refresher. Go ahead, skip ahead. If not, welcome. Let me tell you who the characters are. To understand at least the basics of Pretty Little Liars, you need to know at least the 4 main liars. First, there is Spencer, played by Troyan Bellisario. Spencer is a perfectionist. She's super smart and she's super rich. Spencer is like the type of smart that like she's gonna get into an Ivy League school. And not only because her parents are paying for the building type of smart, you know? Like she's legit. She's also the most focused on finding A out of all of the girls, which works out because A is the most focused on ruining her life and making her life as miserable as possible. So they kind of level the playing field with each other. Next is Emily, played by Shay Mitchell, who you may recognize from the TV show You. She is gay and a swimmer. We love her. She also really goes through it a lot in this show. Her first love interest dies. One of her other love interests revealed to be A. One of her love interests married with a husband. One of her love interests ruined because of A. One of her love interests tried to drown her in a swimming pool. She can't catch a break. At the end of the show, she gets married and has twins with Alison, so I guess that's nice at least. Next up is Hannah. Hannah is played by Ashley Benson, Cara Delevingne's ex, yes. At the beginning of the show, she's super popular and she enjoys shoplifting. Out of all the liars, I would say she's most like the comedic relief. She has a lot of funny moments and quips. Finally, we have Aria, played by Lucy Hale from Wizards of Waverly Place and Scream Queen of the Millennium. Now, Aria's main plot points are that she's mature and that she's dating her teacher. Excuse me? Trust me, we will get into that shit show. Don't you worry. And then we also have Alison. Alison is the one that goes missing. The plot starts revolving around her, and then she's revealed to be alive and found. And she's just an evil person, and everyone in the town has beef with her. And I mean everyone. The girls, people at high school, the police department, people's parents, just anyone that could exist. Alison has been a menace to them some way or another. The girl was everywhere. Now that we've covered the basics, let's get into the pressing matters at hand, the issues. The first one is a huge spoiler. So skip if you ever want to watch this show or think about watching this show. Like, just get out of here now. I'm going to start on a very light note and say, why did Spencer have a secret evil British twin that was revealed to be A?
Really? How hard did Mona hit you?
What was that? If you don't know, Pretty Little Liars ends on Ezra and Aria's wedding, and the final A is revealed. So Spencer wakes up and she's in a dungeon. She doesn't know how she's got there. She's looking around And then she looks in the mirror. She does this with her head. And then bam! Her reflection moves. It's not a reflection. It's a secret British twin named Alex Drake. Yes, that's right. Alex. Alex is obsessed with Spencer's life and wants to replace Spencer because she did not have a good life in England. Like, we couldn't even fathom this. Like, there were no hints to a secret twin. I mean, maybe if you were really deep in the theories, like way deep in Tumblr, like no getting out of there type of Tumblr. But she was not even revealed into the very series finale. There weren't even hints. It only gets weirder. She somehow has this giant high-tech dungeon that's been built underneath her house. Like, I don't know where she got the money for this because she complains about being poor and having no parents. Yet she has a dungeon that's worth at least $10 million, I'm gonna say, and that's just a bare minimum estimate of the type of technology she has down here. And the reason she gets caught is because Spencer's horse, who only likes Spencer, does not like her, and then Jenna, a character who is blind, is like, she smells different, this is not her, and then everyone else is like, Jenna's right. They go down to this magic dungeon and they test the two, and bam, Alex gets a question wrong and she's off to jail. Spencer lives happily ever after. What? What kind of writing is that? Is that bad writing even at that point, or is it just camp? I guess let me know in the comments below your thoughts. I feel like, you know, every teen show is going off the deep end the moment they start introducing supernatural elements into it. Pretty Little Liars really started the trend of having a realistic show turn into a supernatural nightmare, and then Riverdale magnified it by like 2 bajillion, you know? My beef with the supernatural is, why? I get that there needs to be suspension of disbelief for viewers to believe that these girls are being stalked by this omnipresent stalker named A that's supposedly, in some times, a high schooler and sometimes a secret British twin. But supernatural? Honestly? How am I supposed to suspend disbelief about a magical town named Ravenswood and a psychic named Mrs. Grundlewood? Mrs. Grundlewood also plays a huge role in the plot, which is really, really annoying. Because the reason Alison is not murdered, because Alison is buried alive. Like, she's screwed. Mrs. Grundlewood has a vision that Alison is in danger and runs to the backyard and digs her out through her psychic connection. Why? Why is that such an important plot point completely ruined? It just feels lazy, honestly. Like, you couldn't had one of the plethora of characters find her and add to their story arcs. We had to add someone else, and that someone else had to be a psychic lady with blue eyes. What are we doing here? And then also, what was with that spin-off, Ravenswood? They had a spin-off called Ravenswood. I didn't even watch it. I couldn't even tell you what it was about. That's how bad it was. But what made them think that their teen viewers who enjoy Pretty Little Liars would want to watch a supernatural spin-off? I'm sorry, if I want to watch a supernatural show, I'm gonna watch The 9 Lives of Chloe King. Thank you very much. This part contains mentions of eating disorders, so if that's something you don't want to engage with, please skip. Hannah had a plot line mostly in season 1, involving binge eating disorder and bulimia. And it was very poorly handled. For one, Ashley Benson in flashback scenes is wearing a fat suit a la Insatiable. Her eating disorder is very romanticized. Alison, who's extremely popular, convinces Hannah to lose weight through eating disorder methods in order to become skinnier and popular. Hannah loses weight after Alison disappears because of these methods and all of a sudden is skinny and popular. You weren't shown any downsides of her eating disorders or even her trying to recover. It just disappears and suddenly she's still skinny and popular. That's it. I feel like that's a very dangerous message to show an audience of young teenage girls, that your life gets better magically once you're skinnier and you become popular and you get a boyfriend and all of this and yada yada yada. By not showing Hannah go through any of a recovery process or have any downsides to her eating disorder, it almost encourages it. I think if you want to do an eating disorder plotline in your show, you can't just show the good or gloss over it. You need to show why it's bad and how they don't just magically disappear. It bothers me a lot how this was handled, and I feel like whenever I watch a YouTube video on Pretty Little Liars, because there's so many issues with Pretty Little Liars, it's never really mentioned or talked about, but I think it is romanticized. And I know the word romanticized is thrown around a lot, but if you're just showing a character's good traits and how great they had it without any of the negative flaws, you are romanticizing it. Like, that's what it is. That's what they're doing in this show. By showing that Hannah is popular and great now, that she isn't weighing the same amount she used to weigh, they're basically encouraging. It's so frustrating. If you want to handle eating disorders on your show, don't do it like Pretty Little Liars. One thing I don't see mentioned enough is how old Sasha Petirce was when she started filming Pretty Little Liars. Sasha was only 12 when the first season of Pretty Little Liars started filming, and she started her role as Alison. She was barely a middle schooler. I mean, she literally had to have a teacher on set. And yet they had her character saying things like, "You know you want to kiss me," and portraying romantic relationships with actors that were in their mid to late 20s. And I've seen people argue online, yeah, but she's talented. She got the role because she deserved it. And yes, she's very talented and she kicks ass at the role, but at a certain point, doesn't the safety of a child outweigh the talent of one? If the character you're casting has romantic relationships with actors that you know are being played by mid to late 20-year-olds, maybe don't cast a 12-year-old. Wow. Don't put children in a situation they don't realize is bad. And it's not Sasha's fault for auditioning. I mean, she was just doing what her agents told her, what her parents told her. She was just trying to get a job. It was the casting director's fault. I just don't think we should celebrate her age on the show or remark at her wonder kid status for her acting performance. I think we should just be amazed she didn't end up mentally harmed with dealing with such mature content as a child. Oh, here we go. Here we go. There were 17 age gap minor and adult relationships on Pretty Little Liars. What? What possesses someone to write one of these relationships? Let alone 17 of them. Speedrun. There is Aria, Ezria, Alison and Ezria, Spencer and Ian, Spencer and Ren, Alison and Ian, Hanna and Ren, Hanna and Detective Holbrook, Aria and Jason, Emily and Talia, Alison and Detective Wilden, Jenna and Garrett, Alison and Gabriel, Spencer and Colin, Spencer and Johnny, Aria and Jake, and Alison and Lorenzo. Superfans, let me know if I'm missing any of them, because honestly, there could be more of them. The most well-known, of course, is Aria and Ezra's. Aria and Ezra, if you're unfamiliar, have a student-teacher relationship that lasts more or less the course of the entire series. And then they get married at the end. Marlene King, the showrunner for this show, was a huge advocate for this relationship. She was constantly tweeting about it with fans and calling them endgame. In the books, Ezra dies, but Marlene King liked this couple so much that they just completely changed the plots from the books. Pretty Little Liars books went one way, the show went way off course. Way off course. There's just something sinister about that. If you don't know how they got their start, Aria and Ezra meet in a bar. Aria sneaks into a bar and she's just gotten back from Iceland and she's only 16 years old. Her character is supposed to be mature and a cool girl. So she's in this bar and she starts talking to Ezra. She says she's a student. Ezra says he's a teacher. Neither of them disclose where they're a student and where they are a teacher. And they start bonding over their mutual love of English and literature. Can I just say, English majors? No thanks. No, thank you. No hate if you are one though. If you are one and you're watching this, you're great. You're amazing. So Aria and Ezra bond. And then they hook up. Well, when Ezra arrives for his first day of teaching at high school, guess who's in his class? Aria. Does he stop there? Nope. In the very first episode, he grabs Aria at Alison's funeral and he's like, "I just can't stay away from you." And they have this passionate kiss and it's slow-mo and you're supposed to be fangirling. And as a teenage girl, you are fangirling because you don't know any better. And the show is portraying this relationship in such a romantic way that you're supposed to be rooting for this couple. When really it's like, why? Don't do that. Do not root for them. This is bad. But honestly, it gets a hell of a lot worse. What does this show benefit from having this relationship, first of all? And it's bad enough that they're together. Imagine, let's say, the writers threw a plot twist, let's say, that would reveal that Ezra knew her age the entire time. They wouldn't do that, would they? Ooh. deal. Yes, that's right. It's revealed that Ezra knew Aria's age the whole time and actually had been stalking her because he is writing a book on Alison, who he also had once dated. Yes, he dated multiple teenagers. He was stalking the girls to get information for his book, but he fell for Aria. And we're supposed to be okay with that? Like, what's even remotely romantic about a predator stalker looking for a cash grab in a book deal? What does that teach your young impressionable audience? What does 17 inappropriate relationships teach your young impressionable audience? Now, I'm not saying that shows need to teach anything. No, there can be shows that are just entertainment for the sake of entertainment. I love the sake of entertainment. But at a certain point, doesn't it feel like you're almost encouraging this? If you're constantly showing these adult minor relationships and fangirling over them on Twitter, doesn't it feel like you're almost encouraging an audience that you know is all teenage girls? And also to tweet fans about how much you love a student-teacher relationship? What? They see an adult encouraging this relationship. They see the way the relationship's edited on their show, and they're like, this is a love I want to find. No, you don't. This is bad. This is very, very bad. And the fact that it happened at least 17 times is horrifying. And the fact that it made it to air and not a single producer stopped and said, what are we doing? Is criminal. In conclusion, this show makes me angry. Today we talked about just some of the faults seen in Pretty Little Liars. I could honestly do a second and third and fourth and fifth video. That's how bad this show is. If you liked this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe anyway. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for watching.